Okay, it is exactly 8:30, and we have reached week 10 of crime scenes to conviction. And so now I will be giving the final lecture. In week 8, explained to you what was required for the final project, and I'll kind of go over that again. Um, One of you has submitted it already, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. So, all right. So, as you can see, um, your lectures, week 2, 4. You had 2 I didn't do because of something that happened in the family, and so I did week 4, 6, 8, and 10, and then the open house. So anyway, I'm going to record this lecture tonight. This is what is required for this week. Traffic accident investigation reports, reporting in writing, section 6, and also crash and take notes on the accident. Talk about the accident is your discussion post that was due initially Tuesday night. Many of you have done pretty well with that. Your reply posts are due Saturday night. Finally, your criminal justice project, final project, due your police report on crime incident, and then also your writing skills quiz. This all needs to be completed by this Sunday, December 10th by 11:59 p.m. And so as we continue to move forward, hope that you're doing pretty well. Most of you are doing pretty well with this. Let's take a quick look at the calendar. The calendar gives the assignments I just got through talking about, and then your final project. Notice that starting Monday the 11th, next Monday, then your initial post will be due Tuesday the 12th, but not the 16th. The quarter actually ends the 15th, so your reply post will be due along with your written assignment and your skills quiz. And the quarter, as it says here, officially ends at this time, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. That is it. Any assignments that are coming in after that will not be accepted. So you want to make sure you get that in. So let's take a look at week 10. Again, repeating the assignments, the discussion posts, and then your quiz. And then remember, it says make sure that you notice the notes that I provided to you for week 8. Make sure you corrected those. Some of you did not do well with the evidence gathering information, and it's very, 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 very important that you chain of evidence, and that is so important. And I've explained that during week 8. And make sure that again you use that template, and so provide a cover sheet as well. Citation and reference is not necessary here, obviously, but make sure that your report is covered. So let's get into talking about, as far as that project is concerned, make sure that you have provided the information on the template, and that if there is no suspect, and you say there's no suspect, just eliminate the section for suspects. Don't even put them in there at all. If there's only one witness, leave only one witness section in there. If there's only one victim, leave only one victim section. But I'm going to be reading the statements that you take from those individuals, which should come from those facts that you gathered during week 5 and did your field report. And then week 8, you put in your draft. And finally, the last phase is the assignment that's due right now. It is very important that you do the who, what, when, where, how, and why if possible. Make sure you have chronologically written those. I gave you all the steps necessary to do this in week 8, but I'm repeating them again now. Also reminding you that you want to make sure that your conclusion, if there is no suspect, that you mention that specifically in there and what is happening with the investigation. But very important that you make sure that you don't leave out the chain of custody, because it's very important. I explained the importance of it. It deals with the integrity of the items. Make sure that you specify those items. Don't just say evidence was turned over to somebody. No, I want to know what evidence that you specifically picked up. Where did you pick it up? What is it? What did you do with it? Did you put it in a bag? Did you exhibit it submit it as an exhibit? And then after you got all the evidence together, what did you do with it from there? That's what I want to see in detail in that section, and you will lose points for that if you don't end up getting that done, because that's very, very, very important. So that's what I'm going to say about that. Now let me go back to dealing with this week. Lesson content. You're going to be faced in situations as a law enforcement officer with dealing with accidents. And in this scenario here, you look at it and you see if you can pick up the details and how a report should be written. And this is basically explaining how a report is written, and you'll see that it's chronological. You see that it covers all of the possible issues that could take place in there as well. So when you read this, you'll see the report as it's written. Notice that it's in paragraphs, which makes it easier to follow as well. So, anyway, in dealing with traffic accident reports, some key elements in the traffic accident report are in this box here. The date and time and location of the accident, you see that above. The drivers that are involved, their information, their names, the vehicles involved, registration information, license information, description of the vehicle, license plate, of course. Do the drivers own the vehicle? That's information that's important to establish in the report. Get complete vital statistics from each driver. So that means the license information. Collect the insurance information, which goes in because each party should exchange that, but that should be in the report. One of the most important things is to determine if there's someone injured. And if so, contact an ambulance, let the injured parties and refuse assistance, not you. You can't tell them. Let them decide that they don't want assistance. You can't make them. Was anyone transported to the hospital or jail? That needs to be in the report. So basically, you're going to have issues about whether that person was under the influence or those kinds of things. Were they speeding? Those kinds of things. Were any of the vehicles towed? Were any passengers, or were the drivers in there by themselves? Where were they seated? You know, on the driver's side, in the back, in the middle, those kind of things. Were they wearing seat belts? From your visual observation, was there a deployment of the airbag? Were there any traffic signal devices that were present at the scene? Stop signs, yield signs, traffic signals, red lights, those kinds of things. What was the speed limit in the area? Did anything illegal occur to cause the accident? That gets back to, as I said, you're dealing with speed, you're dealing with alcohol, you're dealing with under the influence of drugs, those kinds of things as well. The witnesses, get the name, number, addresses, and statements from any witnesses that are able to contribute to knowing how the accident happened or observed it. Was there any damage to any property, such as property? I'm not talking about the vehicles, but I'm talking about, you know, fences, yards, posts, so forth and so on, signs. Get a statement from all the parties in the vehicle, passengers included. Of course, though, if they're little kids, you might have trouble getting statements from them. How was the weather at the time that the incident happened? Were there any hazards in the area? Signs for road construction, animals, large potholes, and then, of course, they talk about alcohol and things of this nature. These are key elements that go into a traffic report. So keeping in mind that you as an officer want to make sure that you have as many details that will explain what took place during the investigation that you needed to have. And it's going to be a thorough report. Make sure that your grammar is correct. I've said this before, because this is inevitably going to end up being an exhibit in a court of law. It says here that this document is typically the only document that records what happened at the scene. These reports are typically the guidelines to determine who was at fault. It is imperative that you are detailed with the information in the report itself as well. Keep in mind that, again, this is going to be an official court document that could be used in a court of law. So that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot to say about this. So you want to make sure that you do follow and get that done. So that's it for week 10. Just to tie you up, let me take you over to week 11. Again, reminding you that you have an affidavit. You must use this template. And then these are the facts that you're going to do for week 11. And you're going to submit that. And the template needs to be used. If you don't use the template, you're going to lose points. And you're going to, these are facts that happen. And you're going to be obtaining a warrant. And it's going to be based on these facts that you see here that are going to be included in the affidavit. The purpose of the affidavit is the officer's version of what they observed to determine probable cause to and submit it to the judge or magistrate to determine whether a warrant is issued. And there's some very key things in here that I'm going to be looking for that determine whether or not you did a good job here. Then your discussion posts and dealing with accuracy in the court. We've been talking about that since the beginning. And then, of course, your writing skills quiz. So I want to say to each of you that this has been a course that they're going to be doing some changes with. You guys are probably the last group that have a chance to do it as it's constructed now. I hope that you learn a lot. I hope you understand the very serious nature of being accurate in terms of your written and your oral communication, being able to watch out for the traps, which I covered in my lectures, and also that you will save that article that I sent you early in the quarter, giving you details about how to write a report. And you might want to use that in terms of lining up next to your report that you're going to be completing for your final project. And so I've enjoyed teaching this class. I hope that you will continue to move forward in your careers. Uh, I wish you much success. I always tell my students that if you need me after course is over, feel free to reach out to me. I have a number of students that are still attached to me even long after I've had them as students and have gone on and graduated and uh, contact me for references and things of that nature. I'm always happy to continue to help our students. So having gone through all of that, I'm going to say good night and enjoy your Christmas holiday. You see my stockings in the background there. You can't really see it, but let's see if I move my, I guess if I move my head out of the way, yeah, you can see there's a tree. Yeah, there's a Christmas tree back there, and then there's some lights outside the window on our porch. So we're in that season. Enjoy it. Enjoy your family, and I'm going to say good night.